Two-time Ute champ Damien White is alongside me, and with the reverse grid race, anything can, probably will happen.
Always does, that's why we love it. Look at this straight, 1.1 kilometres, always big lock-ups at turn 1 as they charge into the turn. Turn 4, sometimes side by side as they head to the braking area at turn 5. Turn 6, lap 1, usually first gear, would you believe? Down at turn 9 and 10, off camber. Often we see cars falling on the outside as they head to 11. As always, get the power down smooth at 14 because, man, that straight's long.
And 14 is a really cheeky passing opportunity if you launch a big desperate move.
Have to be decisive, though. And we've seen in the V8 Ute racing that the drivers are not always as decisive as they really should be.
Correct. So let's have a look at the grid. Brad Patton starts from the front row of the grid alongside Steve Hodges. Reece McNally and Nandy Kiss will start from the second row of the grid. And of course, with 18 cars flipped around from the results of race 1, that means we've got some slower drivers at the front, faster ones in the middle, and all hell could break loose.
And mix that up with the fact that Holdens are a little bit dominant at Hidden Valley as they stretch the legs of the 6-litre engine versus the Ford. But do you know what? Brad Patton, pole position, got close to his first race win at Winton, came undone right towards the end, but let's hope he can capitalise now on pole position.
David Cedars long way back in 22nd, and Giannis Derhams, who made contact with the Newlon Falcon, received a pit lane penalty. Gary Baxter, a retirement from race 1, and Charlie O'Brien broke an axle, so he will start from 32nd and last. Now, Brad Patton came so close to getting his first race win at Winton. Can he get it done today? Alongside Steve Hodges on the front row of the grid. So it's Holden and Ford, classic rivalry. Watch for the fast guys coming from the middle of the pack. And Steve Hodges has absolutely nailed the start.
Just slaughtered them at the start. Brad Patton, look at this. He has been monstered.
We ride with Craig Dontis, the thirsty Camel Commodore. Now, 3 into 2. Will it go into turn 1? Hodges is the leader.
It never goes.
Oh, no, it doesn't. Nandy Kiss goes around now.
And boom! Slight airborne by Brad Patton there, and Nandy Kiss still got the brake lights on halfway around turn 1.
We jump aboard with Chris Pither. Whoa, there goes Nandy Kiss again. So 2 contacts in effectively 2 corners.
It's absolutely frantic on the opening lap. Always is. Look at the damage to Brad Patton's car.
DBA in-car with Fisher, contact with Kim Jane, who sneaks around the outside, which is a good move because you're on the inside for the hairpin.
Yes, and if he's not careful, Andrew Fisher is going to allow another car in, which is exactly what's happened. Pither taking the opportunity.
And Jack Elsgood's next as well, but wrong side here. Oh, didn't give him much room there.
Might be all about life for Andrew Fisher, but it's not all about giving the other guy room, is it?
Pacemaker in-car with the champ, the Cooper's Clear Falcon. Yellow flag on display. Oh, that's why Reece McNally had a great start, the young Western Australian, but he's off the track and having to hook reverse. That's never good.
When we had a look at the track map, I did mention this part of the track. It's slightly off camber, and it's so easy to let the car drift, and you see all the loose rubber there. As soon as you hit that, you drift off, straight off the track into the grass.
So, Hodges leads. Scott Jennings is up to 2nd. That's a great start from 9th on the grid. Kim Jane in the middle of the pack there in the Bob Jane T-Marts Commodore. Charlie Kovacs, the Wilson Security Commodore. And Chris Pither trying to launch a move on Paul Williams.
You can just hear gently with the right foot as he powers down Kim Jane. He's got the pressure.
Oh, Warren Millett, the wake-up Commodore. Greg Willis in the Grow Fruit Juices Falcon.
Oh.
And Giannis Derhams wasn't looking ahead to see what was going on.
Giannis perhaps needed to wake up a bit there and have a look. The yellow flags would have been out, but luckily not too much damage.
Have a look at this. Elsgood in the white Falcon right with them. He and Andrew Fisher are trying to get by young Paul Williams, the West Aussie, who drives for James Brock's team.
And it's really good to see Paul in and amongst it. 2 years ago when he debuted in the Ford, he showed a lot of promise. When he switched to the Holden, he has struggled a bit, but now, again.
Our leader, race leader, Steve Hodges, won his first race of the year, as I mentioned earlier, in Sydney last year, but he's probably not going to win this one now.
And there's that turn 10 again, off camber. Be careful rejoining.
Oh, Craig Dontis, we had the view with the Century batteries in car, and now that slows the Commodore, and he's got a huge problem here.
Craig Dontis has
got damage to the right front. I'm not sure if he made contact there on the way through, but that's a real shame. They're just getting their head around this Commodore. Steve Owen has been helping them with some testing, but back up front, and Gary McDonald is the man on the move in the Ice Cold Coffee Commodore. He goes on by Scott Jennings to take the lead, and Ryle Harris is right with them.
Again, another performer that we used to see near the front. It's really cool to see Ryle Harris up there bashing mirrors and door handles with the regular front runners.
Gary McDonald's had a tough weekend. They had a leaking gearbox oil seal. They missed the first practice session. They had a small fuel fire in practice too, so you get all the bad luck out of the way nice and early and things come good in the races.
Get on with it. Excuses, excuses.
Have a look at this for a fight. Hodges is back on the road. Ben Dunn is out wide in the Storage King Falcon. And the Kiwi kid, the reigning New Zealand Ute champ, is on his way through the order. Started from 16th. Ben Dunn chasing this car, rebuilt since a crash at Winton. Yokohama replay at turn 1. Look at Nandy Kiss down the outside. 3 to 2, no chance.
What happened there is there was contact between Brad Patton and McNally, which forced Patton over into Nandy Kiss.
This is with Patton.
Boom, contact from McNally. McNally presses on with the game, and Patton and Nandy Kiss are left with all the damage.
And this was what happened to Reece McNally on that first lap while running second. The young West Aussie makes a mistake, and then Steve Hodges, same corner, does the same thing.
You can just see the brake lock-ups as they come into the turn. The inside front gets light. They just needed to come off the brake just slightly.
And there's the contact that damaged the right front of Craig Donis's car. The Thirsty Camel Commodore is out. Oh, gee, what's going on here? Oh, this is the Willis and Millett incident. I can't keep up.
Which left Millett there, of course, in the way of the oncoming Giannis Derhams. Oh, massive brake lock-up from Craig Willis. That's what caused that. When the brakes are locked, Freddie, you can't turn.
Giannis Derhams joins in on the fun in the Mango Media Commodore. And Andrew Fisher started from 14th. The Jesus Falcon has just picked up 8th spot from Ben Dunn and had to go the long way on the DBA in-car.
And how's the head shake from Andrew Fisher? He's not happy about having to show any compassion to the yellow Storage King Falcon of Ben Dunn.
New backing for Andrew this weekend. Gloria Jean's Coffee have got on board. No jokes about loaves and fishes, though.
Leaving that one right alone. Nice smooth gear changes from Andrew Fisher, and you just saw that he gapped Dunn in the gear change.
Kim Jane there, fresh back from a trip to the US to check out some NASCAR racing action. We jump with the pacemaker in car. Jack Elsgood locked up in front. We're making a move on Paul Williams, while Ben Dunn's making a move of his own, and it's not a good one.
I hate being a commentator in this racing sometimes. I mean, I didn't know whether to call that Williams was being passed by Elsgood. There was some guy off in the bush. Suddenly we come off turn 1, 3 wide.
Have a look at this. Kovacs on the inside. Jane around the outside, but he's pulled that move off. So Kim Jane, who started from 15th, has just taken 4th place.
And another solid move by Chris Pither. Just pushed Charlie wide, off into the marbles. No power down for Charlie. Thank you very much. And it wouldn't be Charlie's car without a mirror and a bumper hanging off, would it?
Or a mustache hanging off the front of it. That is a flag for David Cedars in the Newlon Falcon. And that's the bad sportsmanship flag. That's been given for blocking.
And well, he's on screen now. I bet he's filthy. Oh, filthy, all right. Look at him jamming down the inside. Bang! Get into it! Now the drag race down the straight. He has complained about top-end power in his one still Falcon. That's the white one against the black rock star of grey. Who has more grunt?
Well, I reckon it's Jeremy Gray at the moment. He's got his nose in front, but he's on the wrong side of this 1.1 kilometre front straight. Elsgood making a move on Steve Hodges, and look at Grant Johnson. He's going to follow him through. He's going to follow him through, all right. He knows this championship battle will run right through to the end. You're talking about first and second in the championship, and Johnson does not want to let him get away. Up through this right-left flick, and then it's hard under brakes. Into this right-hander that leads into what really is dubbed the valley section of the track. But don't forget, Gary McDonald is the race leader. He's pulling away from Scott Jennings. There is the margin. Plenty of lockups going on down at the hairpin, and Pither and Kovacs are back into it. Well, we saw a lap before where Pither went up the inside of Kovacs. There was a bit of contact, and Charlie, we know Charlie. Tit for tat, brother. Pither better watch his back. Look at Ryle Harris's car. It's got some damage to the left front of the number 58 Commodore. Missed the last round at Winton, but back in action this weekend as we ride on board the Extreme Clutches in-car with Kim Jane. Look at Ryle Harris making the big dive. Right on Scott Jennings, but the thing is there, if you don't get the move done, you slow yourself down.
And we're about to see what happens when you do that. Kim Jane into Bob Jane T-Marks. Look at the power difference now. And that's all because Ryle Harris had a good crack at Scott Jennings, but because it didn't come off, easy thing down the straight for Kim Jane to get past him.
And next on the list is Scott Jennings in the NT Shipping Commodore, which is prepared by Paul Morris Motorsport, back on board with Chris Pither. Had a quick test of this car at Eastern Creek since the last round and really mixing it up with the Aussies. But his teammate is out in front. McDonald has kicked away. And the Holdens this weekend, they've had a few minor changes to the braking, the suspension package, just to improve the braking and their cornering efficiency, and it seems to be working.